The purpose of this training video is to show everyone how to properly use the Letters and Notices module. So you can see that we're already in the project. To get to the Letters and Notices module, you go over to the Documents menu item across the top, scroll down to Letters and Notices, and click on the link. That will open up the Letters and Notices module. And just like all the other modules, there are different views that are available to you. For instance, this one is All Correspondence. This one is a listing of letters or notices that have a status of open or in review. And you can see we don't have any with that status on this project. And there's a completed view, which lists all letters that have either been closed or responded to. And of course, the main view is All Correspondence. So in order to start a new or to input a new letter or notice, you would go up and click on the New Task link, and that will return a form for you to fill out. Now, it's important to know that this training is for everyone. It's for Simplus, it's for the owner, it's for the contractor, it's for the consultants. Everybody has contribute, no delete access rights. So the contractor, if he wants to submit a letter to the owner, he can do so through this module. And by the same token, the CM, if responding or initiating a new letter to the contractor, it can also be done through this module. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. We're going to go back to the actual Letters and Notices log. And let's click on the SUKIT Notice to Proceed. In this case, this was the way that the owner transmitted the notice to proceed to the contractor. This is what the form looks like once it's already saved. But let's go into the edit item. And this first field is obviously the subject of the letter or notice, the actual correspondence date, and then sometimes contractors or owners will actually have a letter number or a document reference number. That's what you would enter in this field. You could hit the radio button, whether it's a letter or a notice, a to and a from. Whether it's a low, medium, or high priority item. You can put in a short description of the content or the purpose of the letter. If this letter happened to require a response by a certain date, you would put that here. Since this was a notice to proceed, there was no requirement for a response. And then you would enter the ball in court. In this case, we had input the contractor's name, John Pena, and it has since been removed, but you would put the name of the person you were sending this letter or notice to in this court. And then you would go ahead and attach a copy of the document here, the actual letter. And then you would go ahead and save it. But before we save it, we also want to point out that there is a discussion tab. And in the discussion tab, you would normally put the date. For instance, I believe this was 11/16/16. And you would note Simplus sent this NTP letter to the contractor. And it is just simply a way to document or log the flow of this document. Then there's also a review tab. Now, the review tab includes a status field. So let me go through these. So when a contractor or when there is a new document initiated, you would automatically status it as open. If the contractor submitted a letter and it was in review, we would status it as in review. Once the letter or correspondence has been responded to, you can status it as responded. And this closed status is simply to status a letter that basically didn't need a response, like sending that notice to proceed. So in this case, this was just closed because it really didn't require a response. So we used the status of closed. Now, you don't have to actually respond with a formal letter if you're going to use this module. depending on the type of correspondence, you can just simply review or put your comments in here or acknowledge the subject matter, and this will allow you to not have to create a brand new letter. But this is an option. If you want to respond formally with a letter and then just attach it to this record, you can do that. But you can also use this to actually respond. It makes it a little bit easier. Acknowledged. So this field is for acknowledging the receipt of the letter, the date that you received it. The ball in court, again, would be from the perspective of who this was sent to. And then if you wanted to CC anybody, just like you would in Outlook. And then down here, like in all the other modules in VPO, you can actually attach formal documents. In this case, this was the actual document that was sent from the owner to the contractor. And then once all that is done, you can hit the Save button. So let's take a look at one more example. In this case, the contractor submitted a request for an inclement weather day. So we would go into the log, click on that, or if he was going to submit it for the first time, this is from the contractor's perspective. He actually input the subject matter, the date of the correspondence, that it was a letter. There was no specific reference number. He sent it to me, medium priority. I know that it came from John Pena, and it was a request for an inclement weather day due to rain on 11/21/16. He could have put a response or required date in there, and he chose not to CC anybody. Since he actually, when he initiated this, put me as the ball in court, but we have since responded to this. He attached his actual formal letter. Let's take a quick look at that. And you can see that this is the letter, simply requesting an inclement weather day. So that was the attachment. And then in the discussion tab, I actually noted that the day that the letter was received from the contractor, and I just noted that we responded the same day. If you go to the review tab, you can see that this office has reviewed Suket's inclement weather day request. So this is my actual official response to the contractor with my notes, and I was sending it back to the contractor, so that's why his name is now the ball in court, the acknowledgement date, and that's about it, and the fact that we restatused it as responded. And then finally, the last step in this whole process is to hit the Save button. Once that's saved, it'll show up in the log. And then again, this whole log at the front makes it very easy to go back and find other correspondence, and you'll be able to easily see any attachments. And that ends the training video for this module.